Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber Steven, and this is Rakdos Scam. This is not the budget scam deck. There are Moxen in it. Steven has access to Power 9, and he just likes doing black scam style stuff in Magic the Gathering. Power to him. This is the actual deck he played at the NYSE Open, put his money where his mouth is in a real tournament with this. He and I met and we tweaked a couple of cards since NYSE, especially trying to respect the Fantastic Car metagame, which I suspect will be a pain in the ass for a deck like this one, but we are out here trying. The core of the deck is discard-based interaction backed up by powerful threats. We've got Grief, we've got Troll of Khazad-dûm, we've got Reanimate to get those things back from the graveyard, which is where naturally playing Magic puts them. And then the Thoughtseize, Cabal Therapy, Vexing Bauble, Null Rod, Magus of the Moon, Dauthi Voidwalker, Opposition Agent, a bunch of hateful things, May Scornful Striker. This is kind of the premier new thing, relatively new thing for this deck. The notable exclusion in this deck is Orcish Bowmaster. And what we determined is you're not actually stopping anyone from drawing cards with Orcish Bowmaster, and the decks that need to draw cards to win, they can just like draw 10 cards, then combo kill you in some kind of way through your 10-10. It also dies to Orcish Bowmaster in the Bowmaster mirrors, like the Frog matchups, where you don't have to care about that card if you choose not to, and we've just chosen not to. Got Dark Ritual and some of the fast mana, the sticky ones, not playing Black Lotus, not playing Lotus Petal. The on-color ones that stay in play is what we're working with here to power out these Hate Bears a little faster. Well, Demonic Tutor and, oh baby, Demonic Consultation. I'm excited to play this card in a deck with this many one-ofs, but if you need it, you need it. Greatness at any cost. We're just trying to punch a hole and then ride a couple of disruptive fellas to the finish line. This is a Rakdos Scam. Let's do it. I'm on the draw in round 1, which is always worse with this deck. I will keep this hand. This is a turn 2 Magus of the Moon. If I find Dark Ritual, I get to do a lot of fun things. I'm going to try it. Utaxian Probe. Okay, well, the jig is up. Pull it to the side and get all up in it. I hope this is a deck that struggles to beat Magus of the Moon. I hope I don't just get shoved in a car. Underground Sea. Dark Ritual. Bad news, team. Fantastic car. Okay. Get in, loser. We're going shopping. Okay, I do have one main deck Meltdown, and I will try to draw it here. I could even hit the Demonic Consultation and use Mox Ruby. Just go all in. It's crazy that this has happened, and they still have 3 cards in their hand. And this card is not okay. I am unfortunately recording this league in the brief window where people are going to be allowed to have 4 of these. Big Rips. That's not it. I could Ritual out Turok just to see 2 cards in their hand. Get a little information. All right, Dark Ritual, kick Turok. All right, for those about Turok, I salute you. I lose, but let me get this info. I don't think it's a surprise that Dark Ritual is in my deck. All right, we did it. Got the info, fished it out. Hard mode, Engineered Explosives, Meltdown, Mindbreak Trap. Unfortunately, Snuff Out and Long Goodbye are not going to help because my opponent's not going to activate the car if they don't have to. Even Tabernacle, I think. And if they literally passed that game with 4 mana in play on turn 1. They broke the car. They checked my hand, broke the car, and passed with 4 mana in play. The Tabernacle wouldn't have actually done anything. Interesting. Okay. Turn 1 Magus of the Moon, still respectable, though I don't think that's really what we're fighting over. I could see Red Elemental Blast being useful. I don't think these other cards are going to be what I'm doing. Okay, I'm building my sideboard tier list here. 4 cards that have to come in, 2 maybes, and then 1 probably not. I get to be on the play, where I get to... my discard actually matters. Dauthi Voidwalker. Not doing a lot. This might be a Doomsday deck also. Like we saw Underground Sea, Dark Ritual, Probe. So Cabal Ritual. I guess Cabal Ritual sometimes a one of in Doomsday. That means I should have my other Oppo in as well. Does that squeeze out one Red Blast? Or do I find another cut somewhere? I think I want all my fast mana, all my discard. Oh, Shieldred's Edict. There we go. There was another removal spell still kicking around. Okay, let's get it. Oh no. A tapped land. My greatest nemesis. This hand is so freaking good. If that's just a swamp, a normal swamp. I think I have to mulligan this. The mental misstep is the only reason I'm even thinking about it. Like, would that buy me a turn? If I can misstep a Dark Ritual, I'll mulligan. All right, I will keep this. It obviously is missing the black source, but it's quite good outside of that. And I think I'm putting Cabal Therapy on the bottom. I have to pitch a card to Grief. So I'd probably bottom Therapy, pitch Ritual. Yeah, okay. And I hope that they keep a glass can in hand that can't protect itself too well. And one of the flex slots I was playing with in my final tuning this list was one Boggart Trawler to just have one extra mana source. And that is a way you could go. That would be over the second main deck Magus the Moon. All right. Grief, Exile, Dark Ritual. Opponent mull to 5. Okay. I could take Mox. So, like, here's the thing. I could take Duress, and they get to, if I don't, they get to Duress my Reanimate. If I leave them with the car, I leave the door open for serious nonsense. But they're on 2 spells right now. They need something like Ancestral Recall to really break it open. I'm actually going to take Duress, and I'll pass the turn. Shame I didn't have the swamp to just take it all. Blue to Delta. Oh, come on. Did you draw Duress? Settle down over there. God damn it. All right. I tried. At least we know their hand is bad. And I mean, you have to take Reanimate here, I think. Because Reanimate is the same card as Thoughtseize, except it also puts a 3/2 into play. Okay, I guess, like, Null Rod, you can make a case if that just clowns your whole deck. Swamp, 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 swamp. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I know their whole hand still. All right, they're passing, hiding their Underground Sea from Wasteland. There we go. Easy money. Always had it. Reanimate that Grief. Probably just going to take Car this time. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, they're knocking at the door over there. Okay, now I'm on board. If they keep sandbagging these artifacts, May is going to be a pretty nice hammer to follow up. Bruh! Fucking vintage cards. I'm sure they were happy to see that one. Mox. Okay. They're getting ahead of May now. That's 2 spells. Unless there's a Spirit Guide, I don't know how we play and break Car here. The land drop's already been made. Yeah, this Mox would have had to be Dark Ritual to get card this turn. Still pretty interested in land. Something's happening. Cabal Writ. Okay. Okay, investing in future Car. All right. Mox Opal can wake up the Car, but it doesn't have haste naturally. Yeah, that's your 5th spell. Sorry to tell you about that. And the last card in hand is Soul Ring. Okay, so they've determined they want to play with more mana and not get cooked by... Oh, they knew about Thoughtseize in my hand, which is awkward because that means me playing out May. Like, playing around Thoughtseize is the same as playing around May here. Bummer. Well, good play. I will summon my Scornful Striker and hopefully start dealing damage. Do I even Wasteland? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still 5 mana. I think I actually just mostly beat a Bolas' Citadel off the top. They have access to blue anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to Wasteland. I've got 3 drops in my deck. I am at the critical 16 life. And all the things that activate Car also trigger May. They have the same words, non-creature spell. Okay, race is on. You're attacking for 4 a turn. I'm attacking for 7 a turn. Every time the Car activates, May triggers, so I get 7 damage. I am winning this race. Oppo! Okay, that's why I didn't Wasteland. Deck full of 3 drops. Opponent's at 7. I'm feeling okay now. Maybe they'll just rip off a Demonic Tutor. And at 7 life, they can't bust the Car anymore because they have to take 8 damage to do that. Nice. A deep mulligan. backed by discard, and now I got to get one on the draw. I think my plan is the same. It's really this Tabernacle is the only thing I could do differently, I think. I don't actually think they have Doomsday in their deck, but we know they have fetch lands, and there's probably Demonic Tutor and Tinker. So Oppo still plays for me. Certainly more than Dothy Voidwalker. Though they might also be a Yogg Will deck, but that's not a fight I'm choosing to fight. Yeah, I don't think I actually want Tabernacle in. With 3 Meltdowns and Engineered Explosives, Vexing Bauble is a lot worse on the draw, though, just as a magic card. Full stop. Though if they're a Tinker Citadel deck, there's some cheese on that pizza still. Okay, I think I'm going to submit the same deck and just hope I get a turn. Oh, baby. This is a 7 mana. So this is turn 1 May plus Troll of Khazad-dûm. I think I'm keeping this and just hoping I'm not dead. Obviously, if card breaks on turn 1, it's over. But if my opponent has, like, a Duress or a Thoughtseize and tries to play on... Oh, great. They kept 7. Well, fingers crossed, butthole clenched. This is all we can do. Well, it's not literally all we could do. We could mulligan, but the only card I'm mulling for is Mindbreak Trap, which is not... Like, we're just not built to do a lot of this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the card can't bust this turn. Duress. Oh, that's going to take Reanimate, guaranteed. That does take a lot of heat off of my opening play here. Yeah, Reanimate taken. I hope I draw something worth casting. Oh, well, not bad. Dark Ritual. Vexing Bauble. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's an annoying card for me to draw for them. Cycle Troll for Badlands. Or do I want Raucous Theater? Yeah, I think I might take the slower card selection here and then get May involved. All right. So you can't play things that are free and anything else hurts. I hope this is good against your deck. I've certainly created a pinch point. I would have preferred to have 8 power in play, but sometimes you can't have it all. On the draw against this deck and getting Duressed, and they kept 7. I'll take this. Fantastic car. All right. Only 2 cards left in hand, so they'd have to draw cards to turn on the car. If my opponent has an instant, they could wake up the car. I don't really want that to happen. Barrogoyf. I will put that on top. I'm interested. That's big enough to party. And do I want to lose May to a Brainstorm? I mean, like, that also means that's 1 less card they have for their turn. Okay. Yeah. All right. Fortune favors the bold. Getting in there. 2 and a blue. Spent on something here. Tinker. All right. Do we have a fuck shit monster? In Bolas' Citadel, I'm fine. It's just kind of a bad card draw engine. But if they have like a Sphinx or a Leviathan, I'm pretty cooked. Okay, Bolas' Citadel. They can play lands off of that. They can play anything off of that, I guess. But it will hurt a lot and get countered. It could bust the car, too. Oh, that's annoying. So that's 2 spells. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. They don't need to resolve. 3 spells. Can I possibly kill on the backswing? Or survive the second swing? Yeah, just yeeting cards into the void here is doing the job. Land. All right. Don't have it. Don't have it. Don't have it. Don't have it. No! Yeah, it sucks that Mox and Mana Crypt were the cards also. Those didn't even cost life on the way through. All right, well, Barrogoyf's not going to be good enough anymore. Is anything good enough anymore? Yeah, that's crazy. Obviously, that's just how the rules work and stuff, and it's not even that surprising that it went that way. But it is also disgusting. Okay, so the plan now is to shuffle the Barrogoyf off the top of my deck by cycling Troll, and then I get Draw Step plus Vexing Bauble that could try to come up with Meltdown. Cycle Troll. Emergency time now. Badlands. They left 1 back. That gives me some life total to work with. Crack Vexing Bauble. And dead. GG. Yep, that's the car. Vroom vroom. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2, and there are enough black sources in this deck, I promise. I think I mulligan this. It just doesn't really play Magic. My opponent did reveal Lurrus. If they're fair Lurrus, maybe I can waste them a bunch of times. I'm gonna mulligan. That's so close. Oh no. I'm actually gonna keep this. Like Vexing Bauble, if they're combo Lurrus, is gonna be really annoying. Strip Mine is good no matter what. They're not gonna be a car deck. A Bauble. That resolved. Good news. I'm gonna get my Surveil land operational here and just try to find anything that does anything. Opponent said hi YouTube. Everyone say hi to OD402. Okay, they're fetching in response to me fetching. If this like resolves an Ancestral Recall or something, I couldn't fight over that anyway. I could just be playing around Stifle or Oppo Agent. Playing around Oppo in game 1 is so crazy if true. But, I mean, scoreboard. I do have that card. Sheoldred's Edict. It's not action, but I think this is a card I'm going to want versus this deck. I pause in my upkeep. Here's the Ancestral. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Whatever. I'll strip mine the land. And we play on. This is going to be a grind fest. Strip mine me back. Or do you just need lands in play? That would make sense to me. Yeah, discarded Force of Will. Vexing Bauble already doing the work. All right, that's gone. Dark Ritual, hell yeah, right on time. Yeah, I really just need anything that applies pressure. I can hardcast Grief at this point. Like, I can get in there pretty good. The Doctor. All right, well, I will Edict that. That is mana ramp. And it shuts off the Edict in the future. Because they can just sack the Deathrite. Okay, we're against Bug. Reanimate. I could take their Deathrite. Better than nothing. Let's play. Okay, pass the turn. I can exile spells. I cannot exile creatures. But if they stick a Psychic Frog here, I might be in some trouble anyway. Moving quick on the second land. That's not Psychic Frog mana. That's Collector Oof mana. Do I want to cycle off Vexing Bauble now? Or do I want this to be the rules of the game? They get their forces back, but they lose out on Moxen anyway. All right, I'll draw a card. Okay. Oof's in. Drawn a lot of lands here. I'm out of cool lands to fetch for, but I can at least thin my deck out. Okay, I am winning the damage race here. We're both dealing 2 to each other, but I can do the last 2 first. All right, well, I better exile a card before Kishless Skimmer draws a card when I do it. And I'm no longer winning the race. Gonna need some help. And I am just gonna fetch a basic here. That's all that's really left to do. Fatal Push. That's a nice one. All right, I'll play Badlands, and I'm gonna push the Skimmer. That's the one I'm more scared of. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Negation. Yeah, they could have hardcast it on their own turn. I'm gonna Deathrite now so they don't draw a card. And pass. Need some action. So many cards in my deck to stabilize or start winning the race here, but I need to find them. Fetching. This might just buy Lurrus. And even that's a problem, though. Okay, they did buy Lurrus. Drawing Grief would be pretty nice. May Scornful Striker. All right, late to the party, but here she is. And they were holding multiple forces when I cracked the bauble, which is bad news for me. All right, mostly dead here. Maybe something like Barrogoyf could still show up and be useful if opponent just has nothing going on. May does stabilize versus Lurrus and Oof because she has first strike. If I draw another one of those, another Skimmer. Barrogoyf, Barrogoyf. Grief. Should I Dark Ritual this out? That lets me... Does that change the race? I don't get cooked by days. All right, this does actually change what I'm able to do in a turn. I don't think Dark Ritual's going to do anything else. If they've saved a Mental Misstep for this, I guess I can just cast Grief, exiling a land with Deathrite. All right, Grief on the stack. They can't have Force here because we know one of their hands is Lurrus. All right, take Lurrus. You've got Spell Pierce in your hand. Exile Force of Will. I can trade with Collector Oof, or I can go to 1, attack for 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't go to 1. The 1 is the same as 7 on this board. I can't make green mana. Yeah, I suppose I should block if they attack because I do have Fatal Pushes in my deck. All right. Did not attack. Just relying on the Flyers to get it done. And get it done they very well may. Oh no, a spell? Another Oof. Okay. Another Grief. All right, the Flyers got me done. If only I put green mana in my deck, but I wasn't planning on playing with Deathrite Chapman today. Okay, Long Goodbye, Red Blast. Stillmoon Cavalier might be actually really hard for them to kill. Protection from white and black. It blocks Psychic Frog all day, and does not block Kishless Skimmer all day. It can get Flying in First Strike. All right, yeah, I think I want that versus any kind of fair deck. I don't need Meltdown here. Vexing Bauble had a solid moment. This is a great Magus of the Moon matchup. They do not play basic lands. They do have Moxen and Deathrite Shaman, of course. Snuff Out kills Skimmers, does not kill Deathrite Frog or Lurrus. I don't think I want that. Oppo's kind of clunky and dumb. It's not what we're about. And we're not a Null Rod matchup either. Mana Crypt Soul Ring, I think I want those. Mental Misstep is fine. I could entertain Engineered Explosives. My opponent has a lot of important 2-drops, but 4 of them turn off Engineered Explosives. Yeah, I think I'll just play with my removal. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Okay, I will keep. This is a slow and steady one. I could cycle Troll with the intent of wastelanding them immediately. Or I could play Raucous Theater. Yeah, I want Strip Mine. I want to be able to do stuff on turn 2. Again, the Raucous Theater, though. If this was Badlands, I would just be already going nuts. Deathrite Shaman. Well, I'm not playing around counterspells now, because Reanimate's not going to work on any subsequent turn. Cycle Troll. And I am going to grab a basic. Demonic Consultation. Game on. All right, Reanimate Troll. Okay, Force of Will. We at least got something out of that. There are currently no lands in the graveyard. Would I rather move in the direction of Stillmoon Cavalier? I think I want to Strip Mine. And they're a fetch land, wasteland deck. They'll find lands to put in the graveyard anyway, but if I can force Deathrite Shaman to eat Strip Mine instead of Troll of Khazad-dûm, that's pretty good for me. Just holding up interaction or holding up a Deathrite activation. A basic Swamp. We know their deck has Spell Pierce in it. I'm still just going to rip off Thoughtseize. I can't play around Spell Pierce reasonably, so I'm just not going to try. But what I see in this hand could impact my land drop if there's a bunch of wastelands over there. I can play on basics. Okay, Spell Pierce, but didn't use it. That's interesting. Bowmaster Decay. I'm taking Bowmaster, and then I'm just going to Stillmoon Cavalier my way through this. Bowmaster's out of here. And I'm going to hope they don't draw a wasteland right now. I don't need this land anyway. Like, even if they do draw wasteland, I can cycle Troll and get there. I suspect I'm about to lose 2 life. Okay, not with this. So they're working on the Reanimate. They're more worried about the Reanimates than they are about killing me. That's fair. Or maybe because they had C in hand already, they just needed to fetch Trop for their game plan to make sense. All right, Stillmoon Cavalier. Coast to coast. That's the plan. I hope you didn't draw Force of Will. Horsing around. Protection from black. 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 We're in there. Okay. I also have this Demonic Consultation, which at some point can be a rip-roaring good time. We got That's a Cool One in the chat. Yeah, I think so too. I was playing a lot of... I was kind of awakening as a competitive player, like traveling around the region and playing in real tournaments when Lorwyn and Shadowmoor Eventide were the format. Those were my mid-college years, 2007, 2008. So Still Moon Cavalier. I have seen this thing active in many situations. And it was good then, too. Tropical Island. I did not buy Luris. Okay. Oh, does that mean the one card in hand is useful? What does that mean? Oh, well, I can set up a reanimate multiple turns out from now. Right, Cavalier, Chugga Chugga. I want to push Deathrite. This beats Spell Pierce. And I want to cycle Troll now while I can still make the land drop, but I'm not going to cast the reanimate into Spell Pierce, obviously. Exiling Thoughtseize on the way out. Cycle Troll. I'll get a Badlands and pass. I guess I could have sequenced this turn in a way where I get an additional damage through if I know I'm not using my mana anyway. But did I know that at the time? Not really. Okay, Luris is in hand. I could consult for Thoughtseize right now. There are 3 of them in the deck. Or no, there's 2 of them in the deck. I probably don't do it now into Spell Pierce anyway. Okay, I'll go to my turn. Or consult for Grief here actually rips. But they could Spell Pierce that. Would they Spell Pierce it? Probably. This card's really good. The alternative is consulting for an answer to Luris after the fact. All right, I'm going to consult in the end step. If this flushes out the Spell Pierce, I'll take it. But I do think this is the best window to do this. Obviously, I'm going to top deck Dark Ritual, and I could have played around all of it. Okay, yeah. A scary enough card that I think the Pierce will be utilized here. All right, can't pay for that. And now I'll just draw Grief anyway. Easy game. Not quite, but I can take them off Luris. Reanimate Troll. Wasteland the Black Source. And attack for an extra damage. This creature gets +1/+0. All in. Go. Luris, Abrupt Decay, 2 unknowns in the hand. A Deathrite can work its way into Luris next turn, which plays another Deathrite. Ooh. Long Goodbye. I like that one. I'm going to save it for Luris. This is 6, 7, 8 damage. I guess I don't need to full buff here. Because the clock is the same. All right, pass the turn. Long Goodbye available. They have to use Deathrite to cast Luris. If they draw a Black Source, then they could gain life and make this a little more complicated. All right, Still Moon Cavalier. Did it all. We called it out, coast to coast, and that's what happened. Do I want to rock? Normally, this is here for protection from white as much as anything else. But a 3-for-1 in this matchup, just from any direction, is pretty nice. I'd probably cut Cabal Therapy if I was going to bring Turok back in. I mean, Therapy is pretty cool against a Luris deck because they have to buy it, and unless they have 6 mana, there will be a window where you know a card in their hand. All right, I think Turok is the kind of grindy sweetness I'm after, though. Back in. Okay, I like this spread of cards I have. I'm very soft to Wasteland, but I like what else is going on. Mox Jet. Deathrite. Okay, Spell Pierce gets any spell I cast here. I could cast the spell in their upkeep, where spell piercing it is inconvenient. Okay, Fatal Push. Misstep. Disappointing. Wasteland. Yep, that was always possible. Yeah, opponent being up 2 mana with Deathrite and Mox while putting me back a mana. This is Bug doing Bug stuff. Oh, they bought Luris already. That's interesting. Come on, untapped black mana. Mental misstep, right on time. All right, I think playing this Raucous Theater, Soul Ring. That's decent if I don't get Wastelanded, and it's real bad if I do. I don't think I'm in the Soul Ring market as much as that hurts. Like, it doesn't kick Turok. I don't even want to cast Magus. Though I do get Magus next turn if I hold on to the Soul Ring. All right, I've decided. Don't Wasteland me again. Not a Wasteland. We did it. We did it. Luris is pretty mediocre on this board. Opponent doesn't have any permanents to loop. Yeah, Luris resolves, of course. That's what Luris does. And opponent is holding up a mana with Deathrite rather than attacking. Okay, I could Wasteland plus Fatal Push the Luris and be done with that. I could try to get Magus and the Moon into play, but I don't actually have black mana to play with. I can't get Revolt without Wastelanding. I could just play Turok out, and I could Thoughtseize, but if their hand is permanents that cost 2 or less, I'm like just giving them card advantage. I guess if Magus does come into play, I can block Lurrus with it. My opponent has unlimited access to black, though. Yeah, this Mox is jacking me up. If it was just working my way through Deathrite, I think I would thug it out, but I don't think that's available to me here. I'm going to use the Soul Ring. Like, Lurrus is not a problem yet. It's just a 3/2 lifelink. Okay, opponent's probably going for Spell Pierce here, which I'm ready for. Misstep. Soul Ring resolves. What does Magus actually do for me? I mean, Psychic Frog becomes very hard to cast. It's hard to double spell. I'm drawing to 3 swamps, 3 trolls, 1 Mox Jet. It gives me 7 good draws in the deck. But my opponent doesn't get, or they do get blue cards because Deathrite Shaman is there. They get 1 more blue card. All right, fuck it. I'm playing Magus of the Moon. Come get me. I kind of really hope this gets Force of Willed. Like, him to Turok is the best I could hope for out of this Magus of the Moon. Getting a 2 for 1. All right, yeah, it barely matters. There it is. If I find a swamp quickly, I'll feel really good about this. If I trade with Lurrus, I'll feel really good about this. If my opponent casts a spell and it's better than Magus of the Moon in a way that like doesn't kill it. Like if they play Psychic Frog right now, I'll feel really bad about this. Uh-oh. But if they play Psychic Frog and then I top deck, okay, cool. Yeah, they just killed it dead. That's fine. Deal. It's worth a card. I will take that. That's about as much as I could hope for from that turn cycle. All right, big draws. Dark Ritual lets me Turok. It gets the hand empty. I can do all this through Spell Pierce. All right, Orcish Bowmaster does show up and jack my shit, though. This is so good if it works, though. I could Dark Ritual first, and then I'm not playing around Spell Pierce anymore, but I am playing around Bowmaster. Wastelanding gives Deathrite Shaman 2 more mana. There's much to consider here. Okay, I think I'm going to Wasteland first and see if we can flush it out. I floated a blue, change phases. Okay. And if they're gonna Spell Pierce, they have to do it on Dark Ritual, and that only matters if they know I'm casting a 4-drop, which I know I am. Okay. Do you have Force Blue card? But still, your hand's empty. I just don't have a 4/3 creature. And Fatal Push works here too. All right. Yeah, I was playing around one set of things by going after their green, because they had the Mox. Like, I was thinking if I kill the Deathrite Shaman in a later turn. So if I had gone after the black instead, that would have actually worked. And I would have a 4/3 in play. And that's just kind of guesswork, I think. Like, I don't know if there's a for sure right or wrong there. Skimmer. Oh, that's gonna fuck me. All right. I am basically out of moves here. Like, I could push the Skimmer, but then they get to replay it immediately with Lurrus. And then Lurrus is going to be in play forever. I could push the Deathrite, but they get to replay that. Man, Lurrus is fucked. Okay. I guess I'm just going to push Skimmer because them having a card draw engine is also just going to beat me. Yeah, that last turn, just a bad guess. And that land means that they can play Kishla and still activate Deathrite. I'll take another draw step, but I think I'm about dead here. Yep, drawing a card, making a mana. A Still Moon Cavalier is a card that might still be useful. As we determined last game, it's hard to remove, and it blanks Lurrus, and it can jump and fight Kishla. This doesn't do anything. All right, I am dead here. GG. And that Turok, maybe I should have read the possibility of specifically Fatal Push, but also wasting the Trop made the Kishla Skimmer. Like, it made it so they did have to use Deathrite and top deck a green source before Kishla was online. A fun one. I think that was closer than it may have seemed at the very end. GG's.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I am on the play in round 3. My disruption is Strip Mine and May. I'm going to keep. This is the most fast mana I've seen in a hand. And I think this is a turn 1 May, and then I'll follow up with Barragoyf. Barragoyf, first of all, it's a 0-1. And second of all, it doesn't do anything to stop my opponent from playing Magic. Here's my Scornful Striker, resolved immediately, followed up with Strip Mine and Pass. That happened so fast, it makes me wonder what my opponent's actually up to over there. Are they a deck without any blue cards in it? Good chance. Lotus Sacked for blue. Soul Ring. Alright, I might be getting put in a car, which would be the most tragic shit on earth if I have the 1-of Meltdown, but not red mana to play it. For Monolith. Okay, I'm not getting put in a car. That's 3 spells already. Oh, wow. They did have car, and they just sequenced it bad. Like, they could have just done this, right? Or, I mean, like, Time Walk is okay, I guess, but would have been better if you were attacking for 16. Weird. Okay. I accept. Okay, you've got 2 mana, a Sleepy Car, 10 life, Mishra's Workshop. Okay, 1 spell. There's only 2 cards left in my opponent's hand. Yeah, maybe that didn't quite work, or they must have just drawn the Workshop, or else the card definitely would have popped last turn. Tez. Okay, that's a spell that's 2 spells. They're also animating the car even when it's going to break, which opens up removal. By the way, I had the thought of Force of Despair after round 1, like when I was in the queue for round 2, and I was like, damn, that's a card we should play. And Steven and I definitely talked about it, and honestly, I think I just forgot to include it in the deck. That is literally what happened. Okay, opponents have 4. So if car is going to break, opponent's going to go to 2, which means they have to leave a car back, or else May kills. Right, spinning top. If they find a 1 or 0 on top of the deck, the card does break. But if they don't, they're going to lose to May and just casting dead spells into her. It's kind of hard to miss here. Wow, but they did! What a world! Incredible. I didn't even take the attack for 4 when it was available. Heads. I lost my flip. Oppo agent. Okay. So I guess here I attack Tezzeret, waste the Workshop, and turtle up. Attack Tez. I mean, putting them to 2 might be literally unwinnable for them. Maybe that was a mistake, but also it just feels like there's so few ways that this can go wrong. I don't know. Maybe I just got greedy. But I feel okay here. And I do think Oppo's better than Barragoyf. Okay, they're going to spin top in the upkeep and look at the same 3 cards they looked at last turn. Okay, I feel like I either got very lucky there or opponent made a mistake. But either way, I'm happy to get away with it. I'll bring in my sweeper options. So here's an interesting piece of counterplay. I should not try to snuff out car decks, but my opponent did demonstrate that they were activating the car into a creature on every spell cast, even though you don't have to. But you can snuff out Fleshraker, so I should bring this in anyway. But that is weird. But this is not Raker because they had Time Walk. I don't really know what to make of what just happened. Like, are people just splashing Time Walk into Raker shops now? That's not a thing that was happening in the near past. Okay, I'm not trying to Magus. Not trying to Void Walk. Oppo might be fine. Fatal Push might be fine. Gotta deal with Raker. Vexing Bauble. I'm on the draw. I like it better on the play. Do I have 2 more cuts? I mean, it's weird to board in Long Goodbye and I mean, Snuff Out costs 0, so that has like text over something like Sheoldred's Edict or Fatal Push. And being able to fetch push a card because it's a creature for no reason is like really tempting to me. I think I'm gonna shave Cabal Therapy on the draw. It just seems slow against this deck. And maybe I leave in the pushes, cut the Edict. But Edict can get Tez or Karn. Alright, I'll cut a push. They don't have counter spells. Push is the same thing as Long Goodbye. Except I don't have to get Revolt, which I'm not like great at doing. I have my normal fetch lands. Okay, I think I don't want to be beholden to keeping fetch lands uncracked, and I will switch a push for a Long Goodbye here. Oh, Long Goodbye also gets Tez. Okay. Lots of reasons to do what I was doing. Love this hand, all things considered. It's got one of my 2 free spells in the opener. All right, Car. All right, am I dead? Okay. I'm not dead. That's great. Mox Ruby. What does that do for me? I think I'm going to pitch Troll to grief my opponent because I can consult for Reanimate. Yeah, I'm going to keep some faith in this Snuff Out strategy that I've devised, even though it is theoretically dubious. A Grief You. I didn't die on turn 1, so I expect this hand to be on the slower side. Tez and One Ring. Well, I'm never beating the One Ring in my entire filthy life, so I guess I'll take that one. And I'll play Swamp and Ruby and pass the turn. Shame that wasn't Jet. I would have ripped off this console for Reanimate so fast. Okay, I am countering this because that filters into Academy mana. Black Lotus, come on, settle down. Okay, they're not activating their car. They figured it out. And now this Snuff Out looks real bad. Yeah, and that's just guaranteed 4 spells now. Yeah, Black Lotus, hell of a card. Or wait, no, I can consult for Mindbreak Trap. All right, I mean, send it. There's ways that I just lose here. I need it to be not in the top 6 or like the bottom 5 cards in my deck. Mindbreak Trap. I got 2 cards left in my deck. Let's fucking go. Yep, it was the bottom 2 cards. Maybe they'll concede and not realize I've exiled my entire deck. Scoreboard. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm killing the car. I'm losing this game. Yeah, with even like maybe 8 cards left in my deck, they could reasonably maybe do. Oh my god! Oh my god! They conceded. They conceded. They didn't notice. They didn't notice there's 2 cards on my deck. Let's fucking go! All right, well, it's a miracle. On to the next round. The Snuff Out tech worked. The BoshNRoll channel is sponsored by Ultimate Guard. I travel all over the world playing Magic with very expensive cards. I trust Ultimate Guard products to protect the tools of my trade wherever I go. Whether you like magic art, licensed art from other worlds, entirely original art, or the simplicity of plain colors, their products have incredible range to match anyone's style. Protect your cards how I do, stay up to date with all the new releases at ultimateguard.com, and stop by the Ultimate Guard section of your local game store. I'm on the play in round 4 versus Alluris strategy. And this Cabal Therapy, I wish I had the heart of a tiger and knew what I was doing with that. I'm almost certainly keeping this hand. I just have to figure out my sequence. And the sequence might just be fetch Raucous Theater and see what turn 2 looks like. I don't have Grief or Reanimate, or else Consulting would be a lot easier. Like, those are probably the 2 cards I want. Demonic Tutor could be useful down the stretch. I mean, that's a very exciting vintage card to see in my hand. A Cabal Therapy is a lot harder to blind hit with in Vintage, where all the good cards are one-ofs. Black Lotus. And against a Luris strat, this is a spot where, like, if they just buy Luris, Cabal Therapy comes on big. You don't normally use turn 1 Black Lotus to buy Luris, though. It would be a weird, aggressive use of mana. Thoughtseize, damn. All right. Well, that happens. I wasn't expecting to get Thoughtseized here, I'm not going to lie. Took Demonic Tutor, played their own Demonic Tutor. All right, they're going to Ancestral for sure. I wonder how many black cards are actually in this deck. Like, Lotus for black, use all 3 of it to great success on turn 1. How likely is that? Like, if this is Esper Frog, it's not that weird. And Thoughtseize is probably a one of in that deck. Maybe 2, if they're really hateful. Yep, there's that. No doubt about it. Right, I am going to fetch Surveil. Mox Jet. That does get me ahead, but I don't think that's what I'm looking for right now. Reanimate. Okay. I could console for a Grief here and go nuts. Okay. Demonic Consultation for Grief. Into this 7-card hand. I've chosen not to play around Daze, because if they force this, I'll just wasteland them instead. Daze is like a one of sometimes index like this. But if they have force and they figure they'll just force whatever I consult for, Grief is resilient to that because I'll just reanimate it, then I get 3 cards. If they force the consult straight up, or just have misstep, whatever. All right. All right. Why did they tank so long if they just had misstep? That's weird. Okay. My opponent has taken 1 turn and they've played 4 restricted cards. All good. All good. Dark Ritual. I still don't have confidence in a Cabal Therapy here. I don't know what I'm looking for. If I draw a useful card like Grief, I could Therapy Force of Will first and get a peek, and then see what they're working with. Is this like Aluris Doomsday deck? No, that Tundra wouldn't be there. I'm not sure. I just don't know. If they play a Frog, I could Cabal Therapy, Force of Will, Sheoldred's Edict, and reanimate the Frog. That could be sweet. Then I'm doing something? Okay. Frog it is. A mana would be nice here, so I don't have to commit my Dark Ritual to the fight. Oh, Fatal Push. That's basically the same thing. Okay. Cabal Therapy, target you. I'm going to name Force of Will. Force of Will, we got one. There's a Mindbreak Trap and a Treasure Cruise. Okay. Treasure Cruise is annoying. The Mindbreak Trap means I can't Dark Ritual and do 2 spells. So I'll just Fatal Push here. Take the clean bonk. Yeah, their hand's just really good. The good news is there's basically no chance they exile Frog to Treasure Cruise because they want it later for Aluris. Yep. Cruise. Probe. They've seen my reanimate now. Presumably this deck has removal in it though, and they just drew 3 cards, 4 cards, 5 cards. They had the draw step, the cruise, and then the probe. All right, Vexing Bauble. All right, well, they can't counter my reanimate now. Okay, cool. I'll do 2 things then. Dark Ritual, Dothy Voidwalker, reanimate Frog. Not bad. Well, I can't flashback therapy, but that was decent. Okay, deleting Bauble into the Void. Now Therapy is back online, or Dothy Voidwalker I can cast spells with. White mana enters tapped. Ooh, all right, that's kind of sweet. I'm going to attack first, see if this Frog can fill me up. Yep, Frog connected. Troll of Khazad-dûm. Do I want to grief my opponent here? Almost certainly, yes. Do I want to pitch Sheoldred's Edict or Troll of Khazad-dûm to do it? Edict could punch through a creature next turn, but I would need Troll's mana to do that. I think I want the mana from Troll more than I want the Edict. This is my first spell. Grief you. Lavinia, Wasteland. All right, well, Lavinia's going into the Void. I don't care about your counter spells at all. Their hand actually is all air right now. And I'm about to get Wastelanded. So I'll get a basic Swamp while the getting's still good. And pass the turn. There's Wasteland. Wasted me. Are you going to buy Aluris, or did you find something to do? All right, Psychic Frog's something to do for sure. And there is a Force Blue card over there. The Void contains Vexing Bauble, Lavinia, and Wasteland. I'm not interested in that. I'm just going to attack with my Voidwalker and then probably not Wasteland. My opponent can't really attack here. I'll play out Wasteland, but I'm not going to use it. Because they have Tundra, they can just replace the mana source anyway. There's no ones in the graveyard to cast, but they haven't even bought Luris yet, so that's 6 mana away before that's even a thought I have to have. And I'm a removal spell away from being in the trash here, but Voidwalker is getting it done. Okay, discarded Mindbreak Trap into the Void. Correctly identified that I cannot block here. I think, no, they still have Tundra. All right. I was about to say maybe I should waste before they draw a card to turn off Plow, but like I said, The same reason I didn't wasteland on my turn is the same reason I'm not going to wasteland now. Flow state. That is for 1 card. There are no instants in the graveyard. Scrappy. Let's go. That was awesome. Yeah, opponent playing out that Vexing Bauble, turning off their Mindbreak Trap was actually that whole game. That was really sick. Long Goodbye, still Moon Cavalier. Snuff Out doesn't hit anything. It would hit Containment Priest if they bring that in. Magus of the Moon's probably awesome here. Null Rod plus Magus of the Moon might be a hard lock, but I think I can live without the Null Rod. Some Red Blasts are worth having in here. Oppo would only be there for the cheese. It's not actually good against what they're doing. That Cabal Therapy did have a moment in the sun. Turok has protection from the removal their deck plays. Though usually Esperlaris brings in Fatal Pushes from the sideboard or Dismembers. They have more, even if the main deck is all plows. All right, Oppo, you're not going to make the cut here. I feel like I could play with 2 Maze. I think my opponent's deck is pretty creature focused, but I am worried about running out of stuff to do. I could probably shave a Ritual. It's a bad top deck, and this match is going to get grindy. All right, yeah, I'm gonna cut a Dark Ritual, actually. Do I want to cut 2 Rituals and keep my action in if I keep May? I probably don't want to get too greedy on the mana cutting because they are a Wasteland deck. Okay, this is what I've done. Bummer, this hand is, once again, missing the black, but is pretty good if it finds it. If I can Wasteland my opponent twice. All right, so 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 12, 13, 16. There's 16 hits here to give me black mana. And as soon as I find it, I'm cooking. Do I trust Wasteland to do enough here? I'm going to try it. Just knowing the matchup is likely to be slow and grindy, and their deck probably doesn't play basics. And if they have turn 1 Psychic Frog, I'm just dead, whatever. But also, I could draw. I'll swamp at any time. And then we're back in. I think Turok and Barrowgoyf are both very good in this matchup. But unfortunately, they had the Gitaxian Probe, and they saw the potentially embarrassing hand that I kept. That'll just make it even more tilting when I draw the swamp on turn 1. Okay, not this time. In Grief and Troll, like I counted Troll in my 16 good draws. Grief gives me 20 good draws. Like I would Grief them here. Just rip it off. Yeah, this is the spot where they could just play Frog and then have no lands for the rest of the game, but it doesn't matter. Oh, Time Walk, sure. All right, I'm wastelanding this Underground Sea. I'm more worried about their black cards than their white ones. Particularly Psychic Frog. Mox Sapphire, okay. Ah, boo, boo, black mana. Jeez, all right. I bet they Time Walked into that Frog because it doesn't make sense to do it any other way. But look at me with my convenient little black source. I'm getting basic swamp here. Dark Ritual. I'm going to try to demonic. Okay, all right. I was going to demonic for Fatal Push. I'm glad they interacted earlier rather than later. A Frog is going here, though. I'll Spellbomb. All right, Reanimate just got a little worse. Grief. Well, Grief got worse, too. Good news, everyone. Dang. That's annoying. I guess I'm going to DT for Long Goodbye. Yeah, could have griefed first. Sloppy. Yeah, that was not good. Yeah, I guess in my head, I was thinking the Reanimate is still earmarked. Oh, okay. Well, they're all in. If I can play Barrowgoyf onto this board, that's actually pretty sick. Thoughtseize, well, Barrowgoyf's gone. Relentless. Yeah, this is what Psychic Frog games look like. Oh, wow. They took Reanimate when Containment Priest and Nile Spellbomb are in play. What is going on? I would have discarded that for free. You didn't even have to pay 2 life. All right, a second Frog. Not great. Another Grief. Yeah, I guess I just play out Turok here as a Containment Priest blocker. Not super happy about it. It'll get bigger if I grief them in the future. Yep, the Frogs are coming in. You can't block them because of... Oh, wait. I could block them because Turok would get bigger. Shit. I blew it. That was my chance to trade with a Frog. That was so bad. That's an interesting interaction. That had not occurred to me until right now. All right. Grief, exiling Grief. Or Grief, exiling Reanimate. Yeah, I'm not casting Reanimate. That's for sure. Do I just consult for a swamp here? Or there's probably a fetch land that I have more than 2 copies of left. A Grief You. I'll take Force of Will. So Swords to Plowshares. These both answer my card. Right, Force of Will answers more cards, I guess. Okay, and then what fetch lands do I have? 3 deltas, and I've used 1. So I have as many swamps as I have deltas in the deck. All right, I'll just consult for swamp here and try to get Barrowgoyf set up for next turn. All right, swamp. Don't fail me now. Basic swamp. 14 cards left in my deck. That's enough to play with. Go. And I am 1 point bigger than Frog now, so if they attack and I get a block and they don't realize the Turok interaction, I actually get to eat a Psychic Frog here, no matter how many cards they discard. But if they jump the frogs, it doesn't matter. Here are the cards that have been exiled. I'm mostly just hoping to draw any black card to pitch to Grief and then stick Barrowgoyf next turn. Meticulous Archive. Kept the card on top. Horrible for me. Low state. Yep, that's fully operational. Played out a Tundra, so it's Plow and 1 unknown over there. Jumping a frog. They figured it out. Jumping the other frog. Figured that one out as well. I'm at 11, and they have 4 cards in hand. All right, I'm in the market for literally any black card. Is there a fetchable left? Bad lands. Bad lands, bad lands. The last basic swamp should be in there. I think the fetch land is in there too. All right, fetch. Or the surveil land. Yeah, swamp, surveil land. My deck, both Magus of the Moons, still kicking. Thoughtseize, Long Goodbye. Troll of Khazad-dûm. All right, running out of win cons here. They can cast Grief. It has resolved. Are they going to plow it before it does anything? They are not. Okay. Lorien Revealed, Mental Misstep, Swords to Plowshares. And I don't love the Lorien Revealed, but I'm taking the Plow because attacking for damage is how I'm going to have to win this game. Attack for 4. Protection from your blockers. And my opponent knows the card in my hand is Barrowgoyf. Here's Nile Spellbomb to draw a card. A 5 cards in hand, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. Lorien Revealed goes plus cards. Do they have lethal with Frog? I can block Priest if I have to. If they make an attack that doesn't kill me, it's possible Turok kills them back. Okay, block a Frog. Is juicing up Turok here. I can play that game. Discarding Lorien Revealed. Discarding Urza's Saga. So Force Negation, Mental Misstep are cards in their hand right now. Turok is up to 6. I'm at 7, 3. Yeah, they can kill me next turn. Another frog too. All right, all right. We'll see if they block. That would be an interesting test. Ooh, Fatal Push. That might do a lot. Are you interested in blocking here? No. Okay. Barrowgoyf. And I'm dead to the frogs. And I know they have 2 counterspells for this Fatal Push in hand, unfortunately. There was a turn where I didn't attack with Turok earlier, because they had attacked into Turok with the frog the turn before, and I was hoping they'd do it again. There was 3 damage I didn't push through, like exactly 3 damage earlier. Treasure Cruise. Okay, resolves. Jumped the smallest frog. Swords to Plowshares. Oh yeah. I'm gonna Fatal Push the biggest frog. Like this gains me some life because they have to put instants in the graveyard. Okay. I'm at 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. They have enough. Okay, yeah, there was one turn where I didn't push with Turok because I thought it was better on defense. Maybe I was just wrong. Cool. That was pretty tight. Do I want May back in? My opponent is much better at doing spells than I am. And that was pretty tight. In that, I'm still fantasizing about the high of just hard locking them out with Magus of the Moon. I think they literally can't do anything. Or they could draw a Mox. They could draw Moxen. They could always draw Moxen. It's vintage. There were no Still Moon calves that game. Would I rip off Cabal Therapy just blind naming Psychic Frog? Is that a posture I'm willing to take? Knowing Therapies in the graveyard for later is something I can use to bully Luris setups. I could shave a Reanimate out of respect for Containment Priest, a card that I don't want to use my removal on, but is also one of the better cards for my deck. Yeah, that's a little awkward, but I'm going with it. Okay, keep. Handful of pretty nice cards. and I get to lead on a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize Snap resolved. Swords to Plowshares, Flusterstorm, DT, Mox Brawl. I'm not fighting over the Vexing Bauble. You can have that shit. I can outmaneuver Swords to Plowshares, I think. Demonic Tutor is always terrifying. I think I want the Pearl. I'm holding this Magus of the Moon. I've got a Wasteland. If this is a dimension I'm going to play on, this is what it looks like. Underground Sea. That does not cast Swords to Plowshares. If I draw a Mox right now, oh my god. Oh, I don't have red mana. Right. That's the other part of it. Okay. Wasteland. And then Dark Ritual out Still Moon. This plays around Flusterstorm, Dark Ritual, Still Moon, Cavalier. That's French for Cavalier. I'm in there. You're dead in 10 turns. Here we go. Less if I draw a land. If my deck had Black Lotus, I could have DT'd for Black Lotus, played Magus here. I still don't necessarily think Lotus improves this deck, but it is noteworthy that that is true. All right, all I can do is bash and hope they don't have a Fatal Push anywhere in their deck. All right, we're going to see Meticulous Archive here. There it is. Dumped an Underground Sea, so they're not looking for mana anymore. They must have found enough to get Demonic Tutor off the ground. Wait, why do I care about Fatal Push? I don't. I guess Frog and Race Me is what they're trying to do here. Or Black Lotus, get Luris going and have Lifelink cancel out my aggression. That would make some sense. This would be a great turn to find mana and get Demonic Tutor moving. They did get Black Lotus. Dark Ritual. Wow, that's annoying for them. Like, if they want a Flusterstorm here, they have to use their Lotus that they just wished for. What would Demonic get? I don't think I'm Wastelanding here. It might just get a fetch land. That's kind of embarrassing, but it plays. I can't just rip out this Barrogoyf. All right. Dark Ritual. Is this worth your Lotus to fight over? DT. Oh, I can get Troll and reanimate Troll. Oh, that also dies to Plow. Yeah, that doesn't help. But Troll is definitely better than getting a land, because that at least invests an extra piece here. Actually, I think Troll is fine. I'm going to get Troll. I'm going to cycle it for bad lands. I'm going to reanimate. Yeah, use the Plow on that. Let's get that out of the way. Clear the runway for Barrogoyf and Magus of the Moon. That also means they can't Luris right away. Or, yes, they can. That's exactly what that means. That's how Black Lotus works. Never mind. Okay, Luris is in. And Black Lotus can plow my Troll. And then we're in a damage race. Yeah, this Lotus Luris situation does make Magus of the Moon quite a bit worse. Okay. They use their Vexing Bulb, which means Black Lotus is not coming back until they cycle that off. Found the land. Guess what? Magus of the Moon. All right. Let's hope this is good. This is an endgame I played towards. Yeah, so they have to crack off their Bauble to unlock their Black Lotus to cast one spell this turn. And if there's another Plow, they're just back out and it's fine. Luris cannot attack into Still Moon. Ooh, counter spells would be pretty nice here. Or it would have to be Force, and it would... Alright, I'm casting Barrogoyf. I don't want to wait until I hit my next land drop. Okay, we're in there. I'm not going to attack with Still Moon still. I don't want Luris connecting. Blue, blue, blue off of the Lotus. Re-Lotus. Black, black, black. Psychic Frog. Still Moon blanks that too. Double Frog. Okay. And they've used their Luris already. Okay. Barrogoyf is a nice attacker here. Yeah, they can't cast that Flusterstorm. Oh, I could Thoughtseize them? Wow, that's nice. All right, I'm going to Thoughtseize. That means that the Frogs can get through this turn, but it also means that Barrogoyf's going to get through. Because I'm tapped out of black, I can't jump my Cavalier. All right, yeah, if they just want to discard their hand into Psychic Frog here. All right, 2 Wastelands. Not quite discarding their hand into Psychic Frog. But Barrogoyf's coming in. Up to you how you want to handle this. You want to handle it by taking 4. Oh, wow. All of the cards I milled are creatures. Do I want Troll to get my second black online? I don't think hitting land drops is a bad idea. But the second Still Moon is pretty fucked. If I can ever cast it, which is not guaranteed. Oh, the Troll gives me Still Moon online right now. Yeah, that's worth it. Yeah, activating the Cavalier that I'm currently looking at is worth more to me than theoretically future Cavalier. Okay. I'm going to pass without rebbing a frog, because they'd have to draw a counterspell and play Lotus off Luris before combat for them to win a counter war here. Okay, I'm going to block the small frog, causing them to discard, and then I'm going to reb the big frog. Okay. They're flying a frog. I'm going to flying my Cavalier. I want to fight the small frog. Block the small frog. We'll see a wasteland discarded here, almost certainly. And I'll destroy target blue permanent, this Psychic Frog. They'd need Mental Misstep to fight this, specifically. Okay, cool. A big blob of nothing this turn. Mox Pearl from the bin. That's a smart investment in the future. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 5, 8. I can attack for 8. That's not enough. I don't want to Thoughtseize my opponent. I don't think that's actually going to help. I'm going to let Barrowgoyf get in there. Barrowgoyf. Okay. Barrowgoyf has been not blocked. Barrowgoyf successfully hit. We've got a mill. Magus of the Moon generated off of that. Who doesn't love a backup Magus? It's a 2-2 on a board where a 2-2 matters. Containment Priest. Okay. I don't care about that. My last basic swamp did get milled over there. I should not be looking for that one in the future. It's not coming. Lotus, casting a blue card. Snapcaster Mage. Okay, they can snap Plow and take the pressure off of Barrowgoyf here. They're still stuck behind Still Moon Cavalier, though, with almost all of these attackers. But that second Magus just kept their mana on lock. That was pretty good. Yeah, Plow is the only card in their graveyard that works here at all. All right, sorry, Barrowgoyf. You did a lot. You were pretty cool. I like you. There's no attacks. Okay, now I have to think. Do I want to try to be closing this game? Like, I could fly for 2 right now. Frog gets to hit me. Luris gets to hit me, but I could trade with Luris. Guys, trading off Luris for a... Because Snapcaster gets to attack every turn, and I can't really block it, because putting that in the graveyard where it could... Demonic Tutor is not great. I really wish my other basic swamp was still available. If I could make this a 2-turn clock, I would. But I can't. Their hand is Wasteland and no other cards. Frog hitting me. Trading with Luris. Man, trading with Luris is really tempting. And I do have to jump Cavalier. This costs mana to do, because Snapcaster is freaking blue. Vigilance is not one of the words on this thing. Alright, I am just going to pass. If I draw my Jet and can get it done in 2 turns, I will. But that's not currently what I'm looking at. Vexing Bauble, draw engine online. Like a Voidwalker, another Barrowgoyf, even a Grief, just as a 3-2 that can attack and stuff. That's all useful to me. May Scornful Striker, let's go. That makes their life a lot harder. I'm going to Thoughtseize to make sure May works. Discarding Spell Pierce, and we see 2 lands. All right. So playing May means that my opponent will be able to hit me with Frog this turn, if they see it, which I assume they will. They've played pretty well. But at 25 life, them at 6, I think the Frog connecting once is fine. Because now the Lotus, the Bauble, they can only do that 2 more times this game until they deal with May. Okay. Down to 4. Blue cards. Flow State, down to 2. Yeah, I don't even know what they can do anymore. They can't remove any of my stuff. Luris has already been spent, and Still Moon Cavalier is lethal now. That was sick. Trust in the Magus. I had belief in it in the sideboard. I had belief in it in my opening hand, and we just had to find the spot to squeeze it through. This was the game where I Thoughtseized Mox Pearl on turn 1 to set up that Magus, and it did the job eventually. Nice. On to the final round.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I am going to keep my hand. The double ritual lets me kind of cook. This is a turn 1 Oppo, which is devastating versus some decks and irrelevant versus others. I think what I'm going to do here is Dark Ritual, play my, and then see if they respond to that. And then I could either Ritual Oppo as well, or I could cycle a Troll with the extra mana. Oh, wow. That just snap resolved. Well, in that case, I'm going to commit the Ritual first, so I don't take 2. All right, your turn. I hope one of these cards is good against you. If this is just like Dredge, I literally haven't done anything. Initiative, I probably will deal like 4 damage to them, but then they have a creature I can never beat online. All right, Chrome Mox, you're in there. I guess I get to tutor a basic land, or I get to planes out of their deck if they take the initiative on turn 1. That's not super useful to me, but it's mildly disruptive to them. Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's on the hand. Okay, Clarion Conqueror, Ancient Tomb. This is happening. This is a matchup that barely cares about either of these cards. Anointed Peacekeeper. I mean, naming Troll of Khazad-dûm with that is pretty powerful against what I've got going on. But Oppo does have 3 power. I can attack here. Trade off, cycle, get a land. Yep, named Troll with that. Makes sense. Didn't need it. Okay, do I want to trade Oppo for Anointed Peacekeeper? I think this turn they might not know that trading is a good idea. Yeah, it's kind of a weird card where they don't even necessarily care about it. But any damage I can get through matters because Ancient Tomb is currently their mana. Cavern of Souls. Naming Angel. So what? Are they already planning for Chancellor of the Annex? Why would you name Angel this early? Is there a lower drop Angel these decks are playing these days? Archon of Emeria. All right, well, I'll fetch in response. That doesn't matter a lot because this land's going to enter tapped anyway. Wasteland. Man, that's a bummer. I do want that card, but I don't want it to enter tapped. All right, I'll put it in the graveyard. That would have been one of my best draws last turn. I'm starting to get out-muscled here. Oh, man. Maybe I should have left the Wasteland on top and attacked with Oppo first. All right, Oppo's attacking. Yeah, that's tough. Slamming Magus here actually would have been sick. All right, I may have messed up. I did not consider the full tapestry of what we're doing here. And now their initiative creature can show up and it won't feed me my 3rd land. Bonus Cavern. Probably going to name a real creature type this time. Angel. Still on the Angel plan. Is their hand just 3 Chancellor of the Annexes? Okay, I'm taking damage. Vigilance is broken. A Void Mirror. You take 4 for the pleasure of playing that card. That turns off 3 cards in my deck. 2 cards in my deck. All right, White Plume is actually good, though. All right, now they're cooking. Planes on top. Or planes in hand. That's how that works. Vexing Bauble. Well, I'll play it. I'll take damage. I'll draw a card. Fuck me. All right, well, nice Vexing Bauble. Into Void Mirror. Got me. All right, I've lost this game. Yeah, it was just a matchup RNG. Like, turn 1, my plus Oppo Agent is a soft block against many decks and a hard lock against others, and we just happen to be playing against a deck that doesn't care about either. All right. Long Goodbye, Snuff Out, Still Moon Cavalier, all coming in for sure. I do like Nullrod. I like Vexing Bauble on the play. Voidwalker's unblockable. They can't interact with Turok. Misstep doesn't matter. Meltdown could blow up some of their mana, but that's not really what I'm doing here. Magus is deeply mediocre. I'm not going to be Cabal Therapying them. I'm not going to guess what the card in their hand is. Yeah, I think that's what I got. Let's do it. I would like to play first. Didn't I board this out? Did I only board one out? Oops. God damn it. I don't even want that. Okay, I guess I'm gonna... I could cast Grief and Thoughtseize. Yeah, I'll keep. Leyline of the Void. Please don't also have a Chancellor. Okay. Leyline, played, no Chancellor. Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize. I'm gonna take Swords to Plowshares and Mana Crypt from this hand. Or I could take them off white entirely. I'm definitely taking Plow. Do I want to take Enchanter or Crypt? I think it's Enchanter. All right, I'll take Witch Enchanter and also play Grief. And I'm taking Plow. All right, here we go. They've got a bunch of colorless mana and a 2/3. Ancient Tomb. A Swamp. Okay, I'm actually... Oh, there is a Wasteland face up in their hand. Never mind. I was about to say I'm going to get the Raucous Theater now, but I can't do that if I'm going to get Wastelanded. 17 life. Pass. Mana Crypt. All right, well, they found something to do. Bummer. This means the Wasteland gets... Oh, Cavernon Human. This is not Archon of Emeria. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Okay. I mean, the race is on, and now Magus of the Moon looks a lot worse. But they can't Wasteland me. Yeah, I guess we just bash this out. Cycle Troll. Get Badlands. Another Grief. Yeah, I mean, bash. Get the initiative. Get basic Swamp from my deck. Do I actually want to play Magus? Yes, I do. All right. Yeah, it's a body in the game. I was just thinking about is the Ancient Tomb damage worth it? But this is a body in the game, and it means they can't Wasteland me. And they could cast their spells without the Ancient Tomb here. We are just in a straight up race. Another Seasoned Dungeoneer. I don't like seeing that on top of the deck. That lets them speedrun the dungeon. Okay. You get to Forge here. So that's 6, 7, 8, 12. That's 12 damage coming my way guaranteed next turn, and they get to draw an extra card. But I get to bash here, and Mana Crypt is flipping. I don't care much about Archon of Emeria. There is one unknown in the hand. I hope it's not good. Okay. That one's not good. Okay. Grief you. We're about to know all their information. I hope this actually connects. All right, Witch Enchanter is gone. They're drawing Seasoned Dungeoneer. They have Wasteland. Attack. This has Menache. And I think I'm supposed to forge onto the Magus of the Moon. They'll have a 4 tough... Or no, they get to... Oh, man, I could lose here. Or no, because only one of these resolves. Yeah, the Seasoned Dungeoneer attack, target it twice. It'll have protection from creatures by the second resolve. So this can't double explore. So you'll have a 4 toughness creature. Yeah, the menace creatures, I don't want them to be able to double block my biggest creature. All right, I'm going on to Magus here. Okay, 6, 7. Hold on, can I lose to a... I don't think I accounted for the actual this ability last turn, so I'm going to 9. Yeah, if they hit if they don't hit a land on the explore, I actually lose right now. Yeah, I didn't account for the +1 last turn. Yeah, I said I would be at 2, so +1 this turn, or last turn, and +1 this turn would do it. Okay, so going into the trap before combat, this actually is wrong sequencing, because now they already have the initiative, and by hitting me, they don't get it back. All right, moment of truth. Land, 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 land. Land, 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 land. No, Mox Pearl. I'm dead, Xaxes. Brutal. All right, well, GG. Can't block. A slugfest. An absolute war. Okay, this was fun. It is off the beaten path, a proper brew in the vintage space. I think playing this deck really just dials into how do you spread your hate monsters. You can have a generic spread of some, like 2 Voidwalkers, 1 Oppo, 1 Turok, but there is probably ones that are just better than others. Like, I could see Magus of the Moon not being worth a main deck slot at all. I could see you wanting 3, depending on the metagame. Opposition Agent, this is gonna be a hammer in some matchups, and as we saw in that last round, completely ignorable in others. I think Dauthi Voidwalker is reliable. I think May Scornful Striker is reliable. These will be impactful in vintage games, no matter what. The Grief Troll scam, that's the point of the deck, that's the backbone. But I think after that, the Cabal Therapy, your removal spread, the Null Rod, and all of these other slots are flex. The Meltdown, the Magus, even the number of discard spells, and what the discard spells are. Like, is this one therapy better than your 4th Thoughtseize? Or do you even want this many discard at all? All of that is flexible. That Boggart Bog that I mentioned, or Boggart Trawler, which was one of my flex slots that I cut at the last second. And I did end up having some hands that I had to mulligan because they didn't have the black source. That's a nice way to cheat 1 black source up while still having something that might be impactful. Like, Luris decks and obviously Bazaar decks care about their graveyard, so ritualing out or just regular old hard casting Boggart Trawler could be impactful. This was a fun exercise. Obviously, it's working really hard, like compared to all my opponents who are casting Ancestral Recalls and Time Walks, opting out of that experience. You gotta want it. You gotta believe in it. And I know Steven is just a reanimate black discard stand, and you gotta stand for something in this world. So power to him for that. I'm gonna leave this one here. This was Rakdos Scam. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.